Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you're well. Welcome to episode 135 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of VR. I can't believe it's 135 episodes. That's shocked me. Anywho, I'm your host, Reese, and it's an honor to be joined by Andreas from Andreas Plays. Little victories. I'm not going to name it all. We will be here all night. He has got his finger in so many pies. It's ridiculous. How you doing, my dude?
Yes. Hello. I'm doing great. Excited to be the first guest of the first episode of 2026 of Crossbot on VR. My favorite show of VR and literally the only one that I listen to. So,
That
the
is
best one.
That is an honor. Literally, cause my plan was to kind of do 2 episodes at the end of December, and it kind of all fell through. So apologies for everyone that kind of may have wondered where I've been. Moved back, it didn't go as planned. Everything went as wrong as you could imagine. So the last 2 weeks of December, I was pretty much rebuilding furniture that I was meant to already have. But I'll get into that at another time. It's too drawn out, and I can't be bothered to talk about it right now because I want to talk about fun stuff.
Yeah, but I just want to say that, it was December. Going back to what you just said, I am a gaming critic, right? Content creator, stream on Twitch. I just celebrated my first anniversary, but I had so many plans. Thank you. I had so many plans in December. I said, I'm going to do these 5 reviews and get my video publishings on track. And then around December 10th, I said, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to take it easy. and yeah, I think people will understand is what I'm saying.
It was an odd one because I had that fire in me, and then literally I got back, and where nothing went right, I just felt so deflated, and I was like, "Oh yeah, laugh! I got that fire in me." Yeah, that was terrible worded.
Yeah,
it's been a while, but yeah, I had plans to do videos for my own channel, do a couple of episodes here, go over the game of the year for 2025, and honestly, dude, when I was like, okay, I'm going to do another episode, and I know I asked you quite late, but you were actually the first person that came to mind to actually ask to come on for the first episode. I absolutely loved our episode we did last time. It was really fun. We had a really in-depth chat. It flowed really well. And I wanted something that was like, okay, I want something that's just very easy. I can have a nice little chat, a nice little laugh. And I'm just happy you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. I did record for my podcast, as you mentioned, Little Victories, last year. My top games of the year, right? But I didn't talk about VR, and I do passionately love VR. And just as you invited me back in June, every time that I get to talk about VR in depth and not have to explain when I have a guest, be like, well, this is not for you, this is for a random person that might listen to it, right? This show, this is for the passionate VR players out there who might be listening. So that's why I feel
that's
like
the
at
good thing.
home here.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for the invite. Absolutely.
So, I mean, without further ado, then let's actually talk about our. Well, I've named my ones obviously the cross button VR, and I'll do the little title cards I did last year and send it over to devs as well, just so they can, I don't know, print it off and stick it on their wall. One day when I again kick myself in the arse enough to go, oh, I'm going to go buy myself a 3D printer, I will actually go out of my way and print actual terrible looking 3D printers, printed
really?
Trophies. Yeah, they'll be wonky as hell. They won't be good. I'll design them myself. They'll be awful, absolutely awful. But the devs can at least put them on their shelves if they want, or bin them. It's completely up to you.
Is it going to be a face of you, or was it?
It's just me with my mouth open. Inside my mouth is just the title of the game. That's it. That's the trophy you're going to get. It's just going to be my face like that.
Someone might like it.
Joe, I'm tempted now just to go and order a 3D printer just to do that and send it to one dev just because I want them to do like a thank you message of just holding my head up with their game name in my mouth. Like that'd just be so funny. But anywho, so I've picked 3 games. I'm going from each platform, each VR platform that I play. So Quest, PSVR 2, and PC VR. Even though with all the kind of drama that I had last year, I did still manage to play quite a lot of VR games. I still managed to kind of keep videos going and reviewing and all that kind of stuff and playing so many games that still time kind of escaped me, which was nice because it kind of gave me that normality. But there's one game that stuck with me, and I think it's probably my overall game of the year. Um,
Yeah.
but it's my game of the year on Quest, and I mean, we had some great games on Quest. We had Deadpool released last year. I mean, that's one of them that pops to mind all the time because it's the only one that's kind of had that big, huge budget behind it, I suppose, if you will.
Yeah.
And I was excited about that. I really was. But the one game that really I was majorly excited about was Memoriam. And that game
Oh.
hit so hard in every sense of the word. It is my game of the year. I think when I think back to 2025
Mm.
and I think of like just something that kind of locked me in all the way through, it's that game, from the gameplay, the story, to the atmosphere, the voice acting. And I think what made it even more special is when you got to the credits of the game and you noticed that the voice
Mm-hmm.
acting was done by the writer, and all this literally all the people that worked developing the game did the voice acting, but it's that professional that it kind of makes you go, "1 minute, what? How?"
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And it was a pleasure to chat to the guys as well and have them on it. I absolutely loved the game. It's fantastic, and I can't wait for it to come to PC. I'm going to play it again. I can't wait to see it with like upscaled graphics. And the same again when it eventually comes to PSVR 2. So yeah, that's my Quest game of the year, and probably my overall game of the year for 2025 is Memoriam. So yeah, you guys did a
I,
great
I
job.
I want you to sell it to me if you can, because I know that game,
You won't
you
like
already
it.
dedicated you you already dedicated an episode to it, right, a couple of episodes ago,
Yeah,
right, with three other people that I saw. I didn't see who they were, but I did see the
they were the
thumbnail and all
devs.
of that. But yeah, all right. But it's a horror game, right? But I want you, like, first of all, does it have any jump scares? How are the puzzles? Is it like,
Does it have
what's the
any jump
combat
scares?
like? That's the first thing that I need to ask. Like, you know that I'm a
Mm,
scary cat.
Mate, I probably I okay. There was actually a moment I jumped and I hit myself in the face. Yeah,
Okay.
and I said that to the devs as well. There's literally a bit, and you're kind of walking. And I won't spoil the moment in the game when it happens or anything like that. But there's a moment in the
Mm,
game where all of a sudden these hands, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, just cover your face, and I went, "Oh fuck!" and just hit my head self in the
uh,
Quest. Yeah,
right.
there's jump scares. You kind of have these moments of seeing visions. Um,
Yeah.
it's like I think it's the Jinn they called it, and you kind of see this. You also see your daughter pop up as well, and she'll kind of be
Hmm.
wandering around, and all of a sudden you'll just see this kind of demon-like figure just kind of appear near her as well. Um,
Yeah. Well.
it's
Uh,
creepy. The atmosphere is always creepy. The enemies jump out of vents all the time, so jump scares are a very big thing.
mm,
Although they did say they had to calm it down quite a lot because obviously with this being on a Quest device, and being
yeah.
not so much being on a Quest device, it's more being now to a public audience as opposed to like their first thing
Hmm.
they did, which was the Return to Rapture mod. They had to make it so
Ooh.
this game was catered more to an audience that wouldn't have a heart attack at every single turn. And when I was speaking to Wim when he was on the show, he was like, I wanted to add more. Like, I wanted to add more jump scares. But I think
Hmm.
it's a scary game in places, and
Hmm.
that's more so because of the atmosphere, the audio design, the
Okay.
narrative, like the way everything kind of just works together all the way through. And it's not a short game as well. Like it's around about 10
Hmm.
hours. But the fact that is people online have said that it's taken even longer than 10 hours to complete it. It's just one of them games you can kind of take at your own pace and just enjoy. I've just got nothing but praise for it. Like I really haven't, and just the way the devs have
Hmm.
handled everything. Like they released it, people had some complaints about the graphics. Bosh, in a week, graphic update. Like it was clear sailing. Like anytime there was a feedback, they were just covering it all the time. Very responsive, and I just really happy with what they did.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one thing that I really love about VR developers is how responsive they are, and I will mention a couple of more instances where developers acted quickly. But I don't want to take the spotlight off of Memoriam just yet. Well, that's interesting, and I really do love. I gotta say, when a game is like, I don't know, 8, 10 hours long, right?
Yeah,
Because we are. I don't know, hardcore VR players, right? Like we make the time to play the big ones, right? From Behemoth to Arcanage to Memoriam. Now I think it's going to be on my list. But sometimes I do have a friend of mine. I played Trenches VR. I don't know you. I mean, it's going
Yeah,
to come out for PSVR too soon, but I played it for Quest, and that game does not pull its punches for the jump scares. It's
I
about
played the
one
non
hour
VR one.
long. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You did for your channel. That's correct.
Yeah,
I did see that video. That was fun.
it's just
but but yes, it's that game is I don't know, a jump scare every 3 minutes, if not more often. It's insane. I wrote a piece for Upload VR that I was a little not angry but kind of disappointed because I went into the game thinking that it was going to be this kind of historical World War I setting, right, based with some, I don't know, trauma that the soldiers back then lived or whatever. But no, like all of the jump scares are just random things,
yeah.
like babies, like dolls, like
Kids
you know,
running round.
freaky
Uh,
monsters. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
I mean, some of them. I think when I played it in the non VR version, I found some of the jump scares to be like, okay, that can kind of go with this. But like you said, where they
Hmm.
come, there's too many of them, and they come too fast, and
Yeah.
it's like at that point you're almost going, well, now you've always got me on edge. You've not given me that minute to calm down. So if I've not had that minute
Hmm.
to calm down, then I'm not going to keep getting affected by this as much. And if anything, you're kind of going to be like, "Oh, saw that come in," and
Hmm.
yeah, it didn't hit for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I played it in non VR, and I kind of my mindset was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I'll play this in VR eventually." I've got it on Steam, and I think I've got it on Quest. I've still not got
Yeah.
round to it. I've just been so busy with everything else that I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'll wait for the PSVR 2 version. Let's try it with haptics and all that kind of stuff."
If you can, please record yourself. I want to see that that
It's
reaction video.
I mean, I'll give it to the developer Steel Crew. That was his first game. Well,
Mhm.
I
I
can't-
mean, it is good. Like it accomplishes what it sets
yeah,
out to do, which is to scare the hell out of you, right?
it was. I think it's his
Um,
first horror game that he did. I think he did a game before
mhm.
that, or two games before that, maybe.
Yeah,
I can't remember what I said in my video, but yeah, if you go back to that, you can kind of.
yeah.
He has a lineage of, but he definitely knows like how to make horror games, and I think he's nailed the setting. I just don't think he's
Hmm.
nailed it with the jump scares. I think at that point in time when it released, maybe that was the kind of
Hmm.
streamers playing your game. You want that kind of constant jump scare thing. Whereas now, like,
Yeah,
I mean, everybody dislikes content creators, right? No one really likes us. They just kind of watch us for our opinion, and they're like, "Ah, fuck that guy." So I mean, no one wants to play a game that's kind of designed for a streamer.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm. Yeah, no, that I totally get what you mean, and I mentioned Trenches VR. Of course, all due respect to Steel Krill, the developer. It sets out to do what it wants to do correctly, right? Like it's a game that you can show to a friend and see them get scared.
yeah, I think it's like that, isn't it?
Um,
Yeah, like
and
the
and
funny
that's
one.
fun, right? Yeah, yeah. But I mentioned that because you mentioned Memoriam. The first thing you mentioned was the atmosphere, and I do think the atmosphere is what really elevates a game.
Yeah, I think the best way to explain Memoriam, just like imagine you're kind of walking down like a dark corridor, and all of a sudden in the background you hear like a pipe burst, but nothing
Mm,
happens. Nothing else happens. You just hear that, and instantly you're like, "Oh, okay, all right, cool, fine." And then you kind of walk past the door, but you don't realize that door's going to open. So then you hear the door mechanics opening. Again, that
mm,
sets you on edge and that kind of thing. You carry on making your way through, and then you're like, "Okay, this is just the environment." And next, bam, straight out of a vent, a bloody enemy comes and starts trying to attack you, and you're like, okay, fuck, now I'm on edge, and you're shooting them, and it kind of sets
mm-hmm,
that up every single time perfectly. And even though the
mm-hmm,
enemies do kind of like jump out of vents quite a lot, it's almost like at some point you walk past a vent, you go, I'm looking at a vent, and that's it, nothing happens. And you're like, okay, I'll come back. When I come back, it's going to happen. This is video game 101. You come back, nothing happens at that vent. You're like, oh, okay, maybe they're not
yeah,
doing it on this chapter. No, two vents later, bosh. And it's and while like I know I'm saying they just jump out of vents, obviously there's enemies elsewhere and things like that, but that's their way to kind of constantly keep you on edge throughout this whole thing, but also not in a way that you're not going to pay attention to anything else, because you will
mm-hmm,
find your audio logs and you will want to listen to them, you will want to go through the computers and all the emails and pay attention to all that, and they
mm-hmm,
understand that obviously the narrative and the story is really important to this whole game they're making, And that's
Hmm.
what stole it for me. And I've said this so many times. The story is genuinely what stole it for me. It's still stuck with me now. I still think of moments of that story, and I'm like, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a survival horror. I'm gonna play it definitely because I think no, I promise. Like you'll see when I do because I even though I'm a scaredy cat, I do think that I I don't know survival horror
Dude,
games
can I just
have.
want to, I'm going to stop you here and I want to remind everybody, okay? Myself, Alex, Paul, and Andreas here, the lovely Andreas, we all played Phasmophobia when it first came to PSVR 2. I think it might have been 2 days before release, something like that. This
Mhm.
man shit himself when somebody joined the game and spawned in front of him. He screamed so loud that we were like, dude, we're in the lobby. There's no ghosts here. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, I don't think he's going to be able to do this. Every step through that house. What was that noise? What was that? What was that? So, yes, if you do play this, again, just like you asked me with Trenches, record yourself because I think it will be the best thing ever. Like, amazing.
All right, yeah, no, that we got a deal now. I promise. Yeah, yeah, I promise to record myself. And honestly, though, I mean, we do content creation, right, for YouTube, so I think people actually like that. I've recorded some videos, and people love laughing their asses off while we make our asses of ourselves. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the Metro Awakening one I did with the spiders, that one got me. And still to this day, I'm like, I want to go back and play Metro Awakening again. And I'm like, spiders, never mind. I'll save that another day. And I think there is an arachnophobia mode, but I also know that I kind of take the fun out of it in a way.
yeah,
Like,
it dulls the edge. Of course,
yeah,
you need to go through it. It's like we're already playing in VR. You gotta go all in. You know what I
I'm
mean?
terrible with spiders in VR. Like, if I see like anything where it's like spiders anywhere, if I have the opportunity to do so, I will close my eyes. I'll just close my eyes and just let it
Yeah,
play out. Once I hear the audio stop, I'll open them up and just hope for the best. So,
I finally started playing Skyrim on VR, right, on PC VR, and obviously incredible. Of course, the music, the intro, everything.
them
And
bloody
I was having the
spiders.
yeah, I was having the time of my life until I remembered that area when you're going through the cave before you finally reach Skyrim and are able to like freely explore these massive spiders.
Yeah, the
And
frostbite
God,
spiders. Yeah.
I, I was quite scared. I had to use the magic because I wasn't gonna get close with a sword. Hell no. I just used magic from afar and I killed them, and then I like walked past them because yeah, no,
And it's the way
they're massive.
it's
They're
the way they
massive.
fall and die as well in that game, where they kind of like fall on their backs and their legs all curl over, and you're like, no, don't like that. But
uh,
to
yeah.
keep the ball moving, I'll jump into my next game of the year, but this one's for
Hmm.
PSVR 2 because, like I said, everyone I chose one for each VR headset that I play, just to kind of so people don't go, oh, he's chose a Quest game because he's a Quest fan, or he chose a PSVR 2 game because he hates every other. No, I play them all. I just we got to keep it. We love.
I've always seen you as a PSVR 2 fan myself, so
I, nah, can't bloody stand the headset. Now I'm joking. I like them all. It's a weird one. Like 1 minute I'll be like full on playing PSVR 2 for like a whole week non-stop, and then won't touch the thing for like a whole month because I'll be playing Quest or PC VR. It's such an odd one how I'll kind of like space out my time between them all. But
yeah.
one game this year, it was actually on my most played games on PlayStation, and it's a game I absolutely loved. It's a game I played with you as well. And my
Hmm.
game of the year for PSVR 2, even though it didn't come out in 2025 on other platforms, it did on PSVR 2 and Steam in 2025, and that is Into Black.
Ooh.
I absolutely loved this game. I thought it was
Hmm.
fantastic from start to finish. The story, the voice acting, everything about it was just fun. There was never a moment I didn't play it where I didn't go, like I would play it for like 3 hours straight. Like it was, which
Hmm.
is doesn't sound like a lot to people, but when like I'm kind of juggling other things, like getting 3 hours to actually spend on a game is quite a lot, considerable amount of time.
It is.
And most of my time when I game these days is like I'll start at like 11 o'clock at night and go to like 2 a.m. in the morning or something like that, or maybe a little bit longer. Into Black was
Hmm.
like, okay, I'll jump on at 8. Oh damn, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Like it was, it had its claws in me. I jumped in with you, I jumped in with Alex, jumped in with Hippie Pickle, jumped in with Jammy Hero. I played it a lot solo, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. And I think the port itself is absolutely fantastic. I think it's one of the best Quest to PSVR 2 ports the system has ever seen. And yeah, it's definitely probably my favorite game on PSVR 2, and it's one that I still want to go back to play these days. Like, I want to jump back into it.
I completely forgot that we played it together on PSVR 2, and
Does my time not matter to you?
Going back to what we just mentioned about spiders, there are bugs, big bugs.
Yeah, they did bother
really
me.
Big bugs in Into Black, and I think you were having the time of your life, because I was, as per usual, yelling and screaming at these big animals, right? Big bugs. And you were just like, what are you on about, mate? Or whatever you said.
What you on about, mate?
Please kill them. Because the way that these bugs move is quite unexpected. They lunge at you from
they do their jump attacks,
distances.
don't they?
So that is a little nerve wracking, but yes, I'm really glad that you brought that game to the conversation, because I have a special relationship with that game. When I started writing for Upload VR in 2024, that was the first game that I wrote an impressions piece for, and then the full review for PSVR 2, and it feels so at home. And I don't mean it for the console. This is no console warring, but I mean like PSVR 2. The areas really shine. On Quest they look more cartoony, as expected. Most games look like that on Quest, and it's fine. But on PSVR 2, they have that edge that really make the game shine. At some point you are literally looking at the vastness of space, at outer space, and those are the moments that I argue are what VR was made for. And then you have the combat, which is the shooting, and that sort of Gears of War mechanic that you can reload if you press the button at the right time. Just beautiful. I do hope that more people play that game, because it's really fun.
I got to admit though, and still to this day, I'm terrible at like doing the reviving and opening the chest, because I'm kind of like just standing like, am I doing this right? And I know we all had some funny moments as well when we played it, and I know I joked around with you, I joked around with other people, and I think people can only imagine the things that we joked around with when playing a VR game. But yeah, it was just, there's never a moment I played this game where I was like, I'm bored, I want to come off, or I'm not enjoying the company or anything like that. It was just pure fun, and that's
fun.
It's what I needed as well. Like it released. I wouldn't say it released at a time when I needed something to kind of consume my mind, but it released in the same year where I needed anything to kind of take away from everything else, and it was just one game where I was like, I'm thinking about that now, not everything else I'm having to think about, and that was nice too. So yeah.
No, it's a great game, and we should get back on it. Like I do
100%.
think that, especially with roguelike games, these mechanics, a lot of people kind of criticize them because they're it's just an easy one-way mechanic, that like it's just a session, right? Like it's just one match after another. But if the gameplay is good enough, then you don't mind going one round after another. It's fun like that.
And I think they do like the roguelite element to it in a decent way, like, because you can die on the level and kind of, you can die on the level, can't you? I remember rightly, you can kind of die and respawn on the level, but if you die at the end when you put your respawn beacon down and you die, then you lose everything. So it's kind of got that kind of, like, it's only it's only that element then when there's a risk, and I feel like that kind of adds this kind of, I can chill, play a game, look around, have fun. And then you get to the end, you're like, oh fuck, and that's when it becomes like quite intense. And I just
when you light up the beacon in the end and a bunch of bugs appear, and they were trying to kill you. We died. You and I died near the end.
What didn't help was that I invited you because you was like, I'm going to jump on. I was like, yeah, just join me then, mate. And he's like, okay, I'll join you. And I didn't realise at this point, and I don't think you played it online prior to that on Quest or anything, did you? So you joined my game, and we both didn't realise that, well, you've not done the first level here. You've not done anything else. You've not got a weapon. You've not got anything else. All you've got is a pickaxe. And it is at the levels where you need the jump pads to get up to places. So there's me shooting the jump pads and then going up and then shooting more down below so then Andreas can get up. And it was just, it was
Mm-hmm.
almost like trying to give somebody a piggyback that was just
Mm-hmm.
very resistant because like every time I'd put something down, you'd miss it, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, come on, man, you can
Yeah.
do the jump. Oh, you haven't got the double jump. Never mind. Okay, do you want to go back and do level one? No, let's push on through. So we get to the end, and then I regret pushing on through because we lost everything anyway.
Yeah, because I only had the pistol, right?
No,
Just
you
the
didn't even have
gun,
that.
which is rather slow. I didn't have it.
No, you didn't even do the
So,
first level at that point. You literally all you had was your pickaxe, which was
oh yeah, yeah.
hilarious.
And then I had to go back and do, get the gun at least, because then you have,
Yeah,
the SMG, you get
you
the
get that later on.
shotgun,
Yeah,
many more weapons, and I didn't have any of that. And you had the whole arsenal, and I was just like, I don't know, the little brother just there looking at you like, hey, can you help me do this?
wow.
Can you kill this bug that's right on my ass, please?
All right, let's
Uh,
jump into the next one, then we'll go on to your games. I won't talk about the next one too much because I feel like it's one of them games where it's still in early access, but
mm,
it's on Quest as well. And the game I'm going to say for my PC VR game of the year is Forefront. I've not played it on Quest. I've always played it on PC. Absolutely love this game. It's one of the games I jump into again, and I'm like, this is brilliant. Every sense of the word, it's fun. I've played it with people that don't even like FPS shooters or anything like that, and they're just having a great time because it's got that battlefield mechanic where, okay, I'll be a medic. I'll just run around and heal people. It doesn't matter if I'm not getting kills. Um, yeah, absolutely love it. It's fantastic. I can't wait
mhm.
to do the final release and get it all, actually fully out because I can only see the future being bright for this game. And I'll be shocked if it's anything but bright because the lobbies are always full. People are always on there having a great time, and it's just what you want. You want that good play session, and it kind of reminds me, like in a weird way, the experiences I've had on it have been like how it was when I first jumped into an FPS game in VR, where like everybody's
Mhm.
talking to each other and they're like, "Oh, dude, come over here and help me with this. Oh, I'm planting, so if you can come protect me, or I need a medic and all that kind of stuff. Or can you get me ammo over here?" And it reminds you like when I got addicted to Firewall back in the day, and everybody's kind of communicating with each other, and you're just having because at the end of the day, it's a team-based game. You're meant to communicate, but for some
Mhm.
reason, like throughout the years, it's kind of got lost in certain ways. Like, there is still team-based games that people won't communicate, but with this, everyone's talking, they're communicating, they're having a laugh, and it's just yeah, it just kind of brought me back to that raw essence of the first time I played an FPS game in VR, and I was like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
great. I'm loving this. So yeah, definitely PC VR game of the year for me is Forefront. So we'll go through your games
Nice.
and then let's talk about the honorable mentions because I know we've probably got a few of those. There's some other good games that came out in 2025.
Absolutely. So we'll say my games of the year first, and then the honorable mentions.
Yeah, do that.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad that we talked about this beforehand, because I really do want to showcase this game. I want to bring it back into the fold. Um, Another game that I reviewed, and I really loved that I did, because ever since I looked at it, I was captivated by the art style and by how it's played, how it looked, how the gameplay was going to work. And this game's called Drakenridge. Drakenridge. It's for
Dragon
quests.
Beach.
Yes, exactly right. I think they say it like that on the trailer. So this game, I basically, the elevator pitch is a RuneScape in VR. That's how I felt it. It's, you arrive on an island, and then you do these little quests for people, and then you go to a cave, right, and then like clear up a camp of enemies, and then you kill some goblins, and then it's all very classic, RPG style or MMORPG style kind of game. And the art style, of course, also looks quite quite old, pixel art kind of thing.
Yeah,
But it works for the game. It doesn't make you dizzy or anything. Like it's just works really well. The characters also um move in a very janky way, but it all feels like, again, it feels like a game from the early 2000s, made into VR, knowing unapologetically knowing what it is and what it wants to be. And for people like me who, yes, of course, I just mentioned Skyrim in VR, but there's more to it than that. There's way more experiences than people can find. And you just love, there's an area, there's like a home base that you have, and then you can like mix and match your potions, and craft your own weapons, and that's something that I really love when they do that in a VR game, right? And then you're out there swinging and everything, so it's kind of like a an RPG dream come true, right? For
Yeah.
fans of old.
It's not co-op, is it? It's single player, isn't it?
It's single player, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I remember when I first saw the trailer of the game, I was like, "Oh, this would be amazing in co-op." And then I found out it's single player. I was like, "Ah," and I get it. It's it's. I feel like it's one dev or it's a very small team that made this.
yes,
Um,
it's one, yeah.
yeah, so I kind of understood straight away as to why it wasn't. But like my mind's just like, I really hope this does well, and you can kind of look at doing that in the future because I feel like it's one of them games where that would just elevate it in every sense of the word. But
Yeah.
like you said, when you kind of go out and you mine your stuff, and it kind of makes going out and getting resources more worth it in a VR game when you come back and you can make something with it. It's the same thing with all these style games. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah, everything like that. When you play any kind of survival game where you have to get resources, it's just, it makes it worth it going out to get it as opposed to just doing it because somebody's told you to for a quest.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I'm still very interested in that one. I'll have to jump into it at some point.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I'm still looking for friends to play these other VR games. What is it? Legendary Tales with, because I've been playing it on my own, of course, and I love it. But I want to play with other people. But you live in the UK, I live in Mexico, so the times
I
don't
mean,
always match.
weekends is always the
Um,
best time to get me. Like that's always the way. Like with gaming, yeah, most of the time weekends, which kind of coincides a lot with the
yeah, yeah,
American guys. So kind of that helps a lot. But I will wholeheartedly say I will probably not play Legendary Tales, and that's not because I think it's a bad game or anything. I actually rated it quite well
yeah.
when I reviewed it back when it first came out. But it's also one of those
Hmm.
games I feel like the more I've played it since reviewing it,
Hmm.
the less I'm starting to like it. It's odd,
Hmm.
and it's again it has a lot of great things to it. But I know the one
Hmm.
thing that keeps making me not want to play it, and it's just how bloody slow you move. Like I feel
Mm.
like
Hmm.
I jump in. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait because you obviously spawn back at your base camp. Like I can't wait. I'm going to push even further, go get some more stuff, crack on with some quests, and then I spawn in and I kind of get to like the first cave and start working my way through. And I'm like, that's taken me 20 minutes to walk over here. Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
this. Yeah, I'm gonna go play
And
something
you know
else.
what, it's also a real workout, and I don't mean to say that I am lazy.
Oh
I mean
yeah,
to say that after an hour, your arms are hurting, and it's a really difficult game to play for longer sessions, because yes, the physics based combat is really cool, but comparing it to Dragon Ridge, for example, I like that game because you could use a bow, you could use magic, or you could just swing around, and there is some like physics based combat to it, but it's not as precise
yeah,
as something like Legendary Tales, and
which
I
is
think
quite
that works in
weighty.
its favor. Yeah, it works in its favor because it's more on the fun side, not on a I'm trying to spar kind of thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't work in its
and some
favor
of those
the
bosses
longer
in
you play.
Legendary Towers as well, like, are enough to kind of make you go, "Why am I doing this to myself? I'm literally torturing myself." But I guess it's kind of got that kind of Souls-like difficulty to it in a way.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I remember playing it with Alex, and both of us to kind of just walk around out of breath after beating up loads of skeletons. But I think
Yeah.
that's another thing I think with Legend Towers that kind of got me after a while. Like when I kept going back to it, and it didn't bother me at first, but I feel like
Hmm.
I feel like the initial 10 hours it didn't bother me, and then like after playing it for about 30 hours, like everything just looks the same to me.
Hmm.
I can't differentiate one area to another. While I know they're different areas because like one's a cave, and but
Hmm.
once you get past the cave and you get to this bit with steps and there's like a long road, again, it
Yeah.
just looks a bit like you're back at the first area again, and it kind of.
Yeah.
And while I do think it's still a great game, it's even better to play friends. It's just
Hmm.
if I could up the walk speed probably by like 80%, I think I'd probably enjoy it
Yeah.
more. If I could just sprint through.
I it's funny because it's one thing that a lot of people don't mention about Souls games or Souls like games is how great the level design is. And I can see that it's the longer you play Legendary Tales, the more difficult it is
Yeah,
to really know where you're at. But I'm still excited for the DLC.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought they were gonna go under because the developer is quite outspoken. He did say that he was kind of in trouble. He put all of his life savings in there, and then now he's gonna come out Legendary Tales on Quest and DLC as well. So I don't know. At least I'm excited for that.
yeah. There was a like side-scrolling game as well on one of the trailers. I don't know if you saw that,
Hmm.
and I think it's I don't know if it's a hybrid game or it's making.
Hmm.
I can't remember. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, it's one of the things I saw, and I was like, I'm more interested in that as a non VR game than I am as a VR game, which is so weird to say since it's a VR podcast. And
Yeah.
but I mean, I still play non VR stuff. Like that's my
Hmm.
chill out.
No, yeah, I did wanted to sort of just to wrap up my thoughts on Drakenridge. I do think that of course, a lot of people, and I'm very glad I just saw this past holiday season, right in December. I think 200,000 Quest headsets were sold, so I think that's great news, right? um, maybe hopefully not all of them are just gorilla tag players, but I think it's important for people to also have a different idea because everyone's just looking for the next AAA experience. And while it's great to have games like Batman Arkham Shadow or Deadpool VR, I think games like Drakenridge, because I also play a lot of indie games, and I love them, and I do think like that um, they give a special kind of I don't know, play style to games, a special bit of gameplay and heart that AAA experiences do not, because AAA experiences always only want to dazzle you, right?
Yeah,
The first area of Deadpool just being these absolutely insane balls to the wall car chase. It's amazing, obviously, but it's really disorienting as well, right? So yeah. Anyway, Drakenridge, great game
I think it was the
on
music
Quest.
more in that scene that got me. But I will talk about Deadpool a bit later because it's one of the games I have been playing.
Hmm.
So, what was your PSVR 2 game of the year then?
Yeah, we mentioned this Arcane Age.
Oh yeah, you
God,
did
what
say
a
that. Yeah,
freaking game. Yeah, yeah. It's also now on Quest as well. Go play it. Man, I'm really excited to talk about this game because I talked about it. I was playing it, I remember, in December of 2024, right? Because I got, an early build, we got a code for
yeah.
it. And
Probably one of the most
and
polished early builds ever for a
absolutely.
game. Like, I
Hmm.
think there was like maybe a few little hiccups here and there that were just quickly all squashed out before the release. But to give keys out like nearly a whole month before release, and for people
Yeah.
just to kind of just breeze through, it's
Hmm.
almost unheard of. Almost.
Yeah, no, and you just mentioned it about Legendary Tales. The longer you play, the less enamored you are with the game. But
Arcane Age is the
thankfully,
opposite.
Arcane Age, the whole 15-hour story gameplay is just gets even better. And something that I love doing in RPG games is to explore every corner, right? There's a lot of vents, there's a lot of chests, there's a lot of areas that you can reach with your picks, right? With your hiking picks.
So good.
Just amazing stuff. And of course, the combat, right? At the end of the day, is what really seals the deal. They got this parry mechanic. You fight against several enemies, and it does not feel, which is I think what's most important, it does not feel um unfair, right?
Yeah,
It's also like you also break a sweat in this game, but at least it's I thought that it was a sort of mix between sort of, yes, Skyrim, but also kind of like Metroid Prime, because of how alien this world is. You're sometimes swimming around and there's this huge kind of crocodile looking beasts and stuff, and they don't attack you, they're just out there. So like that atmosphere again of an alien world is pretty great. Yeah.
I love the way you just wear that. They're just out there. Yeah, they're just vibing. They don't care about the tree man. They're just kind of chilling out as well. They're in this world with you. Nah, Arcade was I say was it's a great game. It's one of them games where I'm like I'm so happy it's on every platform because I'm so
Hmm.
happy everybody can play it in whatever way they're most comfortable to do so. It's just fun. It's good. The story's good. The gameplay's good. Graphics good. They did so many things right with it, and
Yeah.
it's just made me even more hyped for the sequel. So
Yeah, I hope there's like, it's a great game, and the fact that it's, at least my game of the year, I think it harkens back, both that game and Dragon Ridge, more of what I want to see, right? If we saw, I don't know, I don't want to be greedy, but like at least five, or I don't know, seven games like that had like solid fantasy or sci-fi gameplay mechanics and worlds, I'd be happy, man. And I am happy with what we have, but I can certainly admit that it's lacking a little bit.
yeah.
And I know it's difficult, the industry and VR in general, but these games give hope, because you play them and you're like, I want to see more of this.
It's crazy because I see so many posts on Twitter of people going, "Oh, there's not enough AAA looking games, or there's not enough games in VR with great graphics." And here's me, and
Hmm.
it's like, you can give me a pixelated game as long as it's fun. I do not care. Like I play games to have fun. Like I'm still sitting here to this day, still sitting here playing Traveler's Rest, which is basically like a Stardew Valley like, but instead of
Hmm.
doing your farm, you're building up your pub, and
Ancient Dungeon, man, as well, is very
yeah,
fun.
exactly. And it's just like, I get that sometimes it's amazing to get those awesome games like Hitman, and I'm sure people are gonna be like, "What? You didn't choose Hitman as your game of the year?" Hitman: World of Assassination is fantastic, but in no way,
Hmm.
shape, or form is it my game of the year, because while I love the graphics and I enjoy the gameplay and everything, it's just,
Hmm.
I look back at all these other games that I've played and I'm like, I walked away from that incredibly like just smiling, just the amount of fun I've had.
Yeah.
Whereas Hitman is the place I go if I want to go on holiday for a little bit, but I can't afford a ticket. Basically, is the way I look at Hitman. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just kind of wish a lot of people would kind of jump into VR and just play some of these games that may not look good in your eyes, because damn, you'll be
Hmm.
surprised, like genuinely. But yeah,
Agreed.
I think Arcanage is one that deserves the win. I still feel sorry that it didn't win the is it the Game Awards, because it was nominated for
Hmm.
for a Game Award, wasn't it?
It was. Hmm.
And I, in a weird way, like, and I love the Midnight Walk, and that's actually, I'll just jump into that. That is my honorable mention, is the Midnight Walk.
Hmm.
But I also feel like it's a fantastic game. I can't really fault it in a lot of places, but I also feel like it's one of them games where people are like, ah, everybody's raved about this all year. Let's pick that as the game of the year, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it does deserve it. That's the thing. I know it deserves it. But I
Hmm.
also know there's so many other games out there that still deserve it. And I also, I still to this day, I feel like Arcanage was robbed of that. In a, it was
Yeah.
this whole bolstering new VR experience that kind of went,
Hmm.
fuck it, we're
Hmm.
doing everything we can. We're a small team. Our pedigree is all in VR, and they've made this kick-ass title. They've done everything they could. They were so responsive with all the people. Again, there's another developers that was so responsive with all the feedback. They made this game that everybody was just loving. And again, in a weird way, I probably would say that for me, I probably did enjoy like the story of the Midnight Walk and things like that a lot more, and
Hmm.
even down to the characters, I probably enjoyed more. But when it
Yeah.
comes to like what VR game I think you should play or what VR
Yeah.
game you should buy, it would be Arcanage. But if you said to me what game should I buy for a story, I'd be like the Midnight Walk. Um, I just yeah, it was weird because it's like won that award, then won another award, and I'm like, okay, these are all deserving, but at the same time, I'm like, all these other nominations, like these are like kick-ass VR games, and why is nobody voting them? It's because this whole public, and I know what it is as well. It's a
Hmm.
hybrid game, so people are going to go, "Oh, it's nominated for a VR award. I played it non-VR. Let's just whack that in there. It makes sense. It's going to be the same anyway." And there's all I see these VR heads are like, "Arcanage." Oh no one's heard of that.
Mm.
Only people that heard that are people with VR headsets, but it's a shame. But
Exactly.
so yeah,
Exactly.
at least it gets your award. At least it gets your game of the year.
Yes. Yeah. No. I know the developers know how much I love and champion the game since the game came out in January of, well, around this time
Yeah,
last year, right? I championed it. Like, I've been championing it. I wrote a review for this outlet called Noob Feed. I gave it a 95. I knew, a lot of people may kind of um be wary of giving such a high score so early in the year. But as I was playing it, as you and many other people have played it already, you know when you're playing a quality game, and that game is quality.
It's one of those things. I feel like when you've played so many games and you've been reviewing games, you kind of play a game and
Hmm.
instantly you kind of know where it's going to sit with a score. And then you play through the rest of it because you want that score to change. You want your own impressions from the beginning get go to change. And I tell you what, it's so disappointing when you get to the end of a game. You go, no, still a 7. Not a bad 7, but still a 7. But like Arcane Age for me is like one of the
Hmm.
ones where I played it like when I first played it, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty about a 7 game. And then you get a little bit more, and you're like, it's about a 7.5, and you get a little bit further, you're like, okay, it's like an 8.5 now. And you get a little bit further, and you're like, okay, 8.59. I can sit on that. It's one of the games that just kind of, the more you kind of build out your weapons and you get the different customizations, it just keeps growing and growing, and
Hmm.
you kind of just go, yeah, this is a good bloody game.
Yeah, no, and you took the words out of my mouth. What you said about Midnight Walk. I was reading how they choose the people, the journalists who choose the games and who nominate the games who will win, right, on the Game Awards. And I think it's quite obvious, as you said. Midnight Walk, of course, no shade. Fast travel games, and Moonhood Studio is right
Yep, that's the one. Yeah.
of Midnight Walk, like incredible game, as
A-
you said.
And the developers as well, like from Moonhead Studios, like their
Hmm.
previous VR game they made way back,
Hmm.
and we're pretty Ghost Giant. It was called. Still to this day is a game I will say to people like, "Oh, you got a Quest? Pick up Ghost Giant. Oh, you still get your PSV on? Buy Ghost Giant." It was just such a lovely game. So they know how to make these games that are lovely VR games, and I'm not
Ghost
friend.
Giant, you said. I'm
Yeah,
gonna I'm gonna play that.
this where I've actually
Mm.
said the name wrong. Let me quickly Google it. Let me have a quick look.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And yeah, just to wrap up what I was saying, like that's why I do think that Midnight Walk won.
Yeah.
Of course, it is deserving, right?
Oh,
Excellent
100%.
game,
I'm not denying that.
but yeah, I think that it's how when I was choosing, I don't know, streamer of the year, or one of these competitions, right? Esports competitions game, and I just saw the guy who looked like the nicest one. I'm like, this guy looks like a cool, like a nice person. That's who I chose, right? And in this case, people were seeing the list, and I'm sure they were thinking like, what the hell is Arcane Age? What the hell is Ghost Town? I just
Yeah.
see Midnight Walk, and that's
But
what I'm going to choose.
that's the thing. You could not click on anything. You could just continue, which so many people did and so many people didn't. I'm also surprised to see that Alien didn't win because I know Alien was nominated. I was surprised to see that didn't win because that's a huge IP, and I thought people just click that because they know it. Um, but yeah, did you play any PC VR games this year?
I I did try the demo of Dread Meridian, but it's a demo, so no, I don't think that counts.
Oh, I need to try that. Okay, so what's your honorable mentions? I mean, I feel like both our honorable mentions is definitely the Midnight Walk. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can take it away with that one if you
I
want.
think that's my honorable mention is the Midnight Walk. It's one of the ones where I feel like it's deserving to be on this list with the games I've picked. It's just I also know at the same point, and I mean, like from a point here, there was a bit in the Midnight Walk that hit me hard, and I think anyone that's played
Hmm.
through the story will like with the year I had. There's a bit that you get to, and I don't know why it just kind of broke me. And I think it's
Hmm.
because of the situation I was in, as well as like kind of seeing the way they kind of did this whole thing. I was like, that
Hmm.
was beautiful. And like at that point in time when I finished that, I was like, this is my game of the year. But then like I also feel like they've had their roses, and they don't need it
Hmm.
from some little guy like me. But at the same point, if take them because you guys deserve it. I actually did send him a
Yeah.
message. I don't know if they ever read the message, um,
Hmm.
but I did actually send him a message saying like this part in the game, like kind of told him the whole thing, and yeah. So if you do hear this, check your DMs, all right, okay, and find something meaningful from one of your players. Now, I loved your game. I
Oh
did.
my
I loved
god.
everything about it. From the music, I actually was listening to the soundtrack. Like if I had to choose soundtrack of the year, I'd probably
Hmm.
opt for like the Midnight Walk. I have listened to that soundtrack so many times; it's ridiculous, so good.
Hmm.
But I say my other honorable mention, Ghost Town.
I no wait. I wanted to ask you something
Go on.
about the Midnight Walk.
Yeah.
Are there any jump scares? And
No, no, not at all.
because the vibes are very
It's like a
um
Tim Burton movie in a
Tim
way.
Burton. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Is what I was gonna say. Yeah.
it's. I've had people ask things like that before. It's like there's some moments that are creepy and that'll probably make you go, like, but it's not so much like you're gonna get jump scared. And if there is any that I remember, they're few and far
Hmm.
between to the point where like just the pure beauty of that game
Hmm.
outweighs any kind of
Hmm.
thing that
Any
would,
sort of.
yeah, anything that would throw you out of your comfort zone. Like even if somebody said to me like if I went back to people and I said, oh, it had a scene where there's loads of spiders, I still feel like I'd probably say to people it's one of the best games I've played in 2025
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
everything else, the story, the way it is, the interactions with Pop Boy, the different characters, just the voice acting for everything in it, and like having this whole world that's made of clay and like all made, and
Yeah.
then scanned into the game. Hell, I think it's Klaus's shoe is in the bloody game. They actually dipped his shoe in clay and then scanned it into the game. And it's like it's part of like it's just fun, It's and
Yeah.
there's so many bits about the game that I love, and I just kind of sat there in awe at what was it the story was telling, and just yeah,
Hmm.
there was just moments where it just kind of hit me. And I wouldn't say like I'm the most kind of like blubbering fool or anything like that when it comes to like emotional parts in games. Like sometimes I go, damn,
Yeah.
that's quite tough. But like with the Midnight
Uh-huh.
Walk, it was like I don't know. I feel like I think it released in the best year for me to have that full effect of some of the parts of that game. Because the way I think of other parts, I kind of would have been like, oh, that's sad. Whereas I was like, oh, fucking hell, what have you done? I came in here as a strong man and now I'm like crying. So it was it was just
Yeah.
nice to have. So yeah, they definitely deserve that game of the year, them game of the years they've won 100%. And I think if anyone hasn't played it, you need to go out of your way and play it. Whether you don't play it in VR, you play it in VR, whatever way you
Hmm.
choose to play it. It's one of them games where I think artistically and creatively, it's just one of the greatest games that's come from like a
Hmm.
debut studio where they're like, okay, this is our first game and we've done this. It's just so innovative in a way, and it's almost like refreshing. It's not something that's come in and went, hey, we're doing a nice cell shaded game, or oh, look at this, we're doing this high detail game. It's like, hey, look at us, we just made our game out of fucking clay, and you're like, oh damn, out of clay.
Hmm.
Oh, all right, let's go check that out. And it's like other games that are popping up now, and I'm like, that interests me more because you're not doing the norm. Like yeah,
Yeah.
give me that. It's that's what I want. I want people that are gonna do something completely different that isn't what everybody else is doing. So yeah,
Yeah. And I did hear that it has a very emotional story that it has something to do with darkness and fire.
yep.
And yeah, I will
There's a
play
whole
it
thing. Yeah,
soon.
there's a whole thing of it. The whole
Yeah.
Midnight Walk and the whole story behind that, and it's like the narration. It's just kind of all just I don't know. It all works together so well. Like, I'll be honest. Like, and it's probably one of the reasons why it's not one into my list completely. There was a
Hmm.
moment towards the end of the game where it's kind of like, "Fuck, mate, we've been doing this walk for like a while. Like, this is a bit of a
Yeah.
walk. Like, if
Move it
you've
along. Yeah.
yeah." And it's like, and then but it was weird because I had that thought for like probably like maybe like 10, 20 minutes. And then like within that time I got towards the end, I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to be here. Take me back. I want to carry on walking. Don't make this be the end. So it's like clearly I couldn't make my mind up. But yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic game. And definitely my honorable mention.
Nice, nice. Well, yeah, you just said it yourself a moment ago. Ghost Town.
Yeah.
Ghost Town is a game that just came out for PSVR 2. It came out earlier in the year for PC VR and Quest. And what made me, of course, by the time I reached the game, I had already seen that the game had won many awards, that it was highly acclaimed. And I asked, Henry Stockdale, of course, friend of the show and great VR supporter. I asked him if there were any jump scares as well, and he said, like, no, it's kind of creepy, but you have to play this game. You have to.
Yeah.
And of course, I did. I reviewed it as well, and I'm glad that your review did well on Cross Button VR as well. But I think it's mainly the vibes of kind of um, I think Cara Ellison, who is the narrative designer, said it perfectly. You're a freelance witch,
Yeah.
right? which is like I wasn't gonna describe it like that. I thought it was more of like a thriller, supernatural
Yeah,
mystery, but she described it much better than me, which is that way. Like you're a freelance witch who goes on hunts and does exorcisms, and of course there's a personal stake in her story. And I think that the way they built this world is just so fascinating. Of
yeah,
course, not even talking or not even getting into the whole feeling of VR, the puzzles, which are also incredibly great. But the way that the game feels from the very beginning, it doesn't. A lot of video games in general, right? I think even media in general kind of treat people like kids, right? Like they grab you by the hand and they explain to you, this is how this world works, and this is what the enemy's purpose is or whatever. And in this game, you just, as soon as you start, you're off to the races. And
yeah.
as you play along the game, you pick up the pieces, and you understand that in this world, ghosts exist, and um there's like a whole paranormal society living on, like, in the underbelly of London, and it's all very exciting. Like trying to piece it together without the game outright telling you this is how this world works. And I love that they respect the player for that. And of course the story itself, as I mentioned.
Yeah, it's a game that ticked a lot of boxes for me. I think the only thing that kind of fell short for me was because it was short. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted more. It's like as soon as it kind of got to the end, I thought that was like because I wouldn't say it's hit its stride all the way through. It just kept
Hmm.
amping up the story, and then like the minute you're like, okay, this is awesome, then it kind of just ended, and I was like, oh, I want
Hmm.
more. And then I was like, I want a sequel. And I'm kind of hoping that does happen now with how much praise this has got, all these awards it's won. I'm kind of like, I'm hoping like we get a sequel for this. I feel like they could really flesh out this story and keep adding to it. But yeah,
Hmm.
like you said, puzzles are great, atmosphere was great, graphics were absolutely stunning. I mean, I played this on Quest when it first came out. And again, it was another game that I think I got like maybe like a week or a week and a half before release.
Hmm.
No bugs, absolutely polished, beautiful, chef's kiss. Um,
Hmm.
and it was just a good game, and I remember Laurie
The
absolutely losing his shit over
uh
it, like absolutely loving every moment of it. We actually was in a group chat, we are, and a load of a bunch of our friends, and he was putting
Yeah.
down his like I think his top 10 games of 2025, and Ghost Town was on there, and I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, that makes sense. He didn't stop talking about that game. He loved that game,
Hmm.
rightfully so. It's a great game.
I you said something that I think I should mention is the graphics. Absolutely. You see, and this is what happens when we are so used to, like, games with great graphics, at least on PSVR 2. I took several pictures of the buildings, of the lighthouse and some other areas, and I remember sharing that on Blue Sky. And of course, as VR is a niche community, but I think one of those posts reached almost 100 likes. So I think a lot of people just looked at it and really did
Yeah,
think that it was real, that it was a real, apartment building, which is, what highest praise you want for a VR game than thinking that it's real.
they really captured that London esque feel as well. Like it was that was
Very
also
grimy. Yeah.
that's London. That is literally like the way they did that. Even though it's sort of like a more old London, London
Mhm.
still has that kind of feel to it. Like you'll kind of go down certain parts and you do it does feel grimy, and that's the best word for it. You kind of feel like you don't feel dirty for being there, but you also know that like you don't feel clean either. Like that's London. But I'm not criticizing it. Like I love
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
To,
yeah.
I,
No,
wouldn't,
no.
I wouldn't spend every day in London. I love going there for like a day out kind of thing. And that's how pretty much most Brits are. I'll go for a day out in
Mhm.
London. But that's what it was. That game was like. I was playing through it, and I was like, "Damn, this street almost looks familiar." And I was like looking at bits, and I'm like, "1 minute, like I recognize this." And that was also nice too. And I need more games that like sent not just
Mhm.
myself but other people as well, like you. Like I mean, imagine like getting a game where it's like not centered in your hometown, but centered in like a town that's near you or somewhere you travel to or somewhere you've been. It's that kind of stuff. It just things like that.
Yeah.
VR hits so many marks for emotion for you to kind of to achieve for the player. And I feel like with that, like even just adding a location, you're like, holy shit, this is whoa. Like and like when you got to the block of flats, and I'm like, oh, I have not been in a block of flat like this, but I've been in some blocks of flats in like I mean, like, God, there was a block of flat I grew up in as a kid.
Uh-huh.
I said grew up in it as a kid. It's the one we stayed in for a while. I did like it's
Uh-huh.
I remember like it's like a tool rise, like a really huge one. And still now, every time I see like a tool rise block of flats, I'm like, oh,
You remember?
yeah, it's just don't like that. No.
Yeah, it's going back to what you mentioned. It does feel very grounded, and one of the reasons I remember this as well is because the main character is Irish, and a friend who played it,
She is
who
Irish,
also
yeah.
lives in Dublin, he said that he instantly felt a connection because you look at the car of this witch, right, and it has all of these stickers, the Irish flag included. So there are things that he either recognized or knew what they were inspired by. And again, what higher praise you want that, yes, it's this fantasy paranormal world, but it's quite grounded in reality of
Yeah.
sorts.
You can tell a lot of work went into that for sure. So yeah, I think two on one each for honorable mention. We don't want to be too
Yeah.
long speaking over them.
Yeah.
I think 2025 was a good year for VR. I know a lot of people, doom and gloomers, will probably say it was a bad year. It wasn't as good as other years. But I think as a whole, I think games that came were pretty good. There were some absolute horrible ones, as with every gaming thing that you play. I mean, the horrible ones are always the AI ones that seem to be more prominent on PlayStation than I've.
Uh,
Like, I notice
yeah.
AI generated games on PlayStation more than I do on Steam and Quest, and that says a lot. So like
Hmm.
Sony needs to crack down on that shit because that's like hurting my eyes every time I go on. Like, oh look, another simulator game. Like, oh wait, never mind, never mind.
Yeah, the generative AI
Yeah,
titles, thumbnails, they're really horrible.
all
Like you
right.
can see, I saw one that kind of was trying to emulate Grand Theft Auto, but it said like Brazilian drug simulator or something, and it was all just a bunch of generative AI images. A guy was counting money, but he had like three fingers. It's
That's how you
yeah, it's
count money.
horrible,
Three
man.
fingers. So you got the $1 there, $1 there, three fingers. You don't need to see these ones. These are behind the other dollars. It's almost like the like the
Yeah, every artist knows it's just
yeah.
you
Let's
only
try
animate
serious
three
up. Come
fingers.
on. This guy doesn't have eyebrows. Yeah, but that's part of the character development. It's not AI. Ignore it. Yeah, no, there's too many of them, and it's become to the point where I'm like I used to love scrolling through the PlayStation Store to see what upcoming games arriving. Now I go on there and I'm like, it's getting as bad as everything else. Like it's kind of just
Hmm.
depressing that this is now the state we're coming to.
Yeah.
But within all that shit, we've still got a lot of good games, and I mean we've got announcements for more games that are coming and all that kind of stuff, which I'll be going through very shortly. I'm going to quickly
Hmm.
skim through the news for everyone, and I've kept it very short because there's only two bits that kind of like caught my attention. One of them is good news for PSVR 2 and Steam players. I say good news, it's depending if it's your type of game. Along Survive is coming to both those platforms. If you don't know what Along Survive is, it's a game that was on both. I say both. It was on Quest. It came to early access on Quest, or did it release full? I'm trying to remember. All I know is I played this in playtesting for the devs quite early on. I want to say quite a few months before release. I had a decent time with it. I sent like a whole bunch of feedback. I think I sent like an hour or 2 hour video as well, just kind of going over everything. Um, and by the looks of things, the trailers, like I haven't had a chance to jump in. I did say to them because they did ask me, "Oh, could you jump back in and check everything out?" I was like, as soon as I get a chance, I'll jump into it. And I did install it last night on my Quest to give it a go. But from the trailer they released for the actual game, it looks like
Hmm.
majority of the stuff that I said to them has been kind of done as well. So that's also nice to see. Um, but I'm happy about that. But I'll jump into that and I'll probably bring back my thoughts for that one maybe next week or the week after. But
Hmm.
it's basically a bit like a not a tower defense game, but it's a horde style game with like bugs. It's another bug game. You play your mates, you shoot these bugs that come towards this bit that you got to defend, and you can put down like different turrets and things like that, and things to kind of stop them from attacking that bit that you got to defend. And at
Hmm.
heart, I love those type of games. I really do. They play with that kind of little me that was growing up playing Bloon Tower Defense on like Mini Clip or whatever it was. So still to this day, I play these games. I'm like, this takes me back. So yeah, it was a cool game. and I'm looking forward to jumping into the PSVR 2 version and the Steam version. And yeah, I will hope to see other people somewhat interested in it. But I'll talk about it a bit more when I play the full release on Quest and then come back with my thoughts in a couple of weeks. Let's get to some depressing news quickly.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't be January without some absolute dark cloud coming over. And I mean, we say cloud, and I think people may have already got the hint there, but Cloudhead have laid off 70% of their staff, which is incredibly unfortunate. If people don't know, Cloudhead are, I mean, their most popular game, I know they've done other stuff, but their most popular game is Pistol Whip. It's a game they released ages ago and still keep adding content to it to this day. Free content all the time as well. And yeah, they did a whole statement, you know, a bit about the industry, a bit about kind of like what's going on for them. And it's a shame to see because like when I think of a studio that's kind of, you never mention, but you also know there's that one game you always recommend. Like I always recommend Pistol Whip to people, but I never go, oh, Cloudhead, they're a studio like you should go look at, because I don't see like them having these many games. It's almost a bit like Synth Riders. Like it's just Synth Riders. You know, I know they've got a studio name. I know it's Cluj Interactive and all that kind of stuff, but it's Synth Riders. It's always Synth Riders. There's nothing else. There's no. That's what I remember. And hi, Synth Riders. I know sometimes you watch this. So love you guys. But but no, genuinely, like it's. I think of a game and I don't think of their studio, and this is what it's like with Cloudhead. Like it's. I think of Pistol Whip, and it's an amazing game. It's a game I would recommend to every VR player, and it's almost like one of the ones where I kind of thought like nothing could hit them. Like this is a game that everyone's going to buy. It's almost like Beat Saber. You pick up a VR, you buy it. And I was so shocked because it's such a huge number. Like it's not like 10%, 20%, 70%. That's like nearly the entire force they have. But I know the owner, I think it's Denny. He's basically looking out for jobs for the staff that he has had to unfortunately lay off, and he is really taking it away. Like, you know, he's taking this to heart. Clearly, sadly, this is what he's had to do to keep the business afloat, and I completely understand that. It's sad nonetheless, but what he's doing, he's looking around for jobs to kind of get his previous members in roles again. And that was kind of more what his post was like, if you know anything, let us know so we can kind of get our people back in work. But yeah, it was a shame to see nonetheless. And I really do hope everyone that did get laid off, I hope you do find something soon. I mean, what you all do with Pistol Whip, you're a talented bunch, so I'm sure you'll find something. Whether it's somebody who's coming out of the blue making a rhythm game and they need someone's expertise, I think you could really kind of like turn their game from 0 to 100 in seconds. So it's, yeah, I wish you nothing but the best, and thank you for what you did on Pistol Whip, because yeah, I love it. I still love that game. It is one that I played a lot. I played it on PSVR 2, and then I went back to the PSVR 1 version. It's just a good game. It's a good game. I still jump into it every now and then. We still sometimes, when we do our little VR the Champions in the Cross Button Discord, Pistol Whip's a game that always comes up for a little tournament. It's loved by many. So yeah, all the best. But yeah, we won't dwell on that too much. I think let's look towards the future of what's coming. There's some games coming this month. I've just stuck with January. Obviously, any point. I mean, I don't know if any. I mean, have I put them in order? Let's have a look. No, I've not put them in order. But hey, these are the games that are coming in January. Not all of them, some of them. And I've kind of like tried to make it so there's some Quest there, there's some Steam there, there's some PC VR there. I've already said Steam. When did I say PC VR? Some PSVR 2. So it's kind of like gives everyone a bit like, oh, I've got something to look forward to. So again, you can't say cross button VR. Really like, so because yeah, that's what it's like in VR these days. But to start off the list, Fixer Undercover is coming to Steam and Quest in January. I haven't put down the dates because I'm going to be honest with you, I completely forgot to do that. Give me a break. It's been nearly a month, all right? Okay. Don't even come at me, all right? Okay, I completely forgot that having the dates would have been quite useful for all of you guys. But these are what's coming in January. Just keep looking at Google, or you can go search Google.
I love that you look like it actually looks like you're reading the comments that are going to arrive in the future. It's
mate,
like, it looks like you're.
You just know at this point. It's YouTube. What other comments are going to arrive? Oh, he spoke about a Quest game first. That means he likes Quest more. No, I said Steam first over that, but sure, why not?
You gotta mix it up. Yeah, yeah.
But Fixer Undercover is a puzzle-like game. It's a bit like an escape room style game. There's loads of different puzzles that you have to do in various order. Looks quite fun. Something I've been interested in when it first got announced, but also kind of fell off my radar until somebody put this on one of their videos, and then I was going through posts of looking at new games. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Have you heard of Fixer Undercover?
I have not. The only one that
No,
I
you
have
have.
something to say is Dread Meridian. Dread Meridian.
Oh,
So go on,
when we get to
and
that, you can get
I'll
you can
say
give me
something. Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
you can give me your thoughts now because I completely forgot there was a demo. Completely forgot, and this is one of them games I've seen clips of. I'm like, how's everyone playing this game? And then like now you just tell me there's a demo. I'm like, that's how everyone's playing this game.
There was a demo. There was a
Ah,
demo during the Steam. There's Next Fest. I think it was earlier. Well, late last year, and it's
okay.
gone. So yeah.
Fuck. Anywho, up next from I want to say Exocus. I remember the developer's name of this one. I believe that's Exocus. I'm probably got it wrong. This is a game I've kind of been interested in when I see it. I'm like, oh, cool, like a little platforming parkour style game, but it doesn't look like much more than that. I've enjoyed Exocus's previous games or some of them,
Mm.
so I'm kind of looking forward to giving it a try. And yeah, that's coming this month as well. I think it should be quite an interesting one. That's arriving to Quest and PSVR 2. Weirdly, not Steam. Because, like, that, which kind of shocked me, really. I kind of thought if you're doing PSVR 2, you might as well just do Steam as well at this point. But hey ho, do as you will.
With the Steam frame coming soon, I'm looking forward to your episode on that.
I like your episode on the Steam frame. Yeah, when I eventually pick it up like 6 or 8 months later when everybody's already given their thoughts.
My IP. Oh man.
Yeah, next up is Dread Meridian, which is coming to Quest and Steam this month. I'm going to let you take over and talk about this one because this is one that I'm actually really excited for.
Oh yes. It's been on my mind since you mentioned Memoriam because of the similarities in the name, I suppose, and because they're both survival horror games. But
Yeah,
I went into the game. I tried it on PCVR, right? Steam. Sorry. Yeah, as I said on the Steam Next Fest demo, I had to write an impressions piece for it. So when
okay.
I have to steel myself when I do that, as we've mentioned so far. And you know what? It's like it had some bugs, but I'm quite excited because it says it's going to release in January. We still don't know when yet, but I really would like to play it because you mentioned, right, when you play a game, in this case also a demo, that it has sort of these the foundations of something great or something that's going to be really good. You could see the puzzles, the mechanics, sort of like Resident Evil, right? Some little things that you had to look at the wall and you had to like piece some items together, right? It very Resident Evil esque, and also the shooting, of course the manual reloading that we're used to in VR. And the monsters themselves were quite creepy. There was
I
like this
was
sort of
just looking at a trailer.
bat. There was a bat, but the bat had like a human face. And like as I've said, and you mentioned at the beginning of the pod, of Phasmophobia, what scared me was, I mean, yes, of course, the jump scare, but the fact that I felt it so close to my face. And in this game, the monsters themselves, there was a sequence, I believe, where someone kind of like grabbed you by the neck, so that was a little bit nerve wracking. Um, but overall, if they were able to polish the foundations of what I saw, which is a good survival horror, with what you expect, puzzles, combat, and exploration. I hope we might have a really good game on our hands, but we'll see.
I'm surprised you even offered to do the impression piece on this one. For you to go, Joe, what? I'll do the impression piece in a horror game. I love horror games. My name's Andreas, and I love horror games. But that's how I can imagine that conversation went. There's like, yeah, sure, we'll give it to you. You do it. Yeah, no, everything you've said about this is, yeah, I'm excited for it. I've watched some of the trailers. I was actually looking at some of the images while you were talking about it, and yeah, some of the mutated enemies are
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're weird.
I don't wanna give in too much, but there's a sequence, a chase sequence, I must say, in the beginning that I must admit that I did see some screenshots before accepting the job, but I think that I was not ready for what the game was about, and you mentioned it yourself, mutated enemies. Um, you're in VR and you look at this enemy inside a cave, and he's like, I don't know, I don't want to like make him look too big, but I don't know, man, the size of a tree, right? Like, and it's just a
What,
bunch of
like
mutated bodies
a pine
searching you.
tree, a redwood tree? What tree are we talking here?
A massive tree, like, and it's
Uh,
just, and
not a
he's
tree guy,
following
clearly.
you. Yeah. Yeah, like it's, I don't know. You remember that rock from Indiana Jones? Well, imagine that rock, but it's just a lot of mutated bodies. Like it's yeah. I
Oh,
think
mate,
that's a better analogy.
wait? Could you imagine if there's actually a clip like in the scene in that game where all the bodies just kind of mutate together and it's just one big ball? That would be fucking creepy. There you go, Dread Meridian. I've just given you an idea for the DLC. So not even released your game yet, but I've given you ideas for your DLC. If you want any more, you know where to find me.
Hmm.
Right, what's next? Okay, this one is a game I've spoke about a lot in the past on here, and the reason I've spoke about it a lot in the past is because it was actually a game, an early concept by Joyway, originally called I think it was originally called Red Flowers actually, but they've now changed it to Catana, Red Flowers.
Mm.
So they basically changed out all this neon, not ultra realistic, but had some good graphics to now where you play as a cat. It's the same gameplay and everything, but you play as a cat and you do the same thing that you did in this tech demo they had previously. I mean, there's other little bits and bobs that by the looks of the trailers they've added as well, but it's one of the things I'm like, I'm a bit sore that you gave me a taste of this kind of like neon world that you were creating, not like neon, but more like
Cyberpunk.
yeah, yeah, in a way like cyberpunk. More like do you remember, like, is it Sword Runner, Blade Runner?
Yeah, Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah, like a Blade Runner type thing, and I don't know, it had that kind of vibe to it, like with the neon lights and just the rain and these high city skytops, and you're just running across walls and just slicing enemies up. And then now I'm like running across walls. Well, I say now I've not played it yet, but like now you're a cat running across walls with a katana, and it's just I'm kind of like you've taken something that I was actually really looking forward to, and multiple times I was like, are you ever going to do anything with this project? Because you kind of released this demo and then you did nothing with it for the longest of time.
Hmm.
But I get why they've done it. I do. I understand it that they've done what they need to, and these type of games are big on Quest. It makes sense. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's coming this month as well. It's coming to Quest first, and then it will be coming to PSVR 2 later. Um, no date for the PSVR 2 version. I feel like the date for the Quest version is probably next week, so the week this arrives. I feel like
Yeah,
it
the
might.
the 15th. A
Yeah,
lot of games are coming out that day.
yeah.
Hmm.
15th, and then the week after that, and then the week after that. I think it's mostly the last 3 weeks of January. There's quite a lot of them.
Hmm.
Next up is Trenches VR, and that's coming to PSVR 2 on I want to say the 20th. Is that right? 20th of
Hmm.
January, was it? Yep, 20th Tuesday. That's correct, because I saw that one today, so that's why it's in my head still.
Yeah, the deal is on, by the way, what we said at the beginning of me recording myself playing Memoriam and you trenches VR.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let's do it. Let me get this room sorted first, so I don't have to. There's still like all stuff behind me I need to organise.
Yeah, please don't hit a wall, man, or a fan or anything. Like it's yeah.
Hit the window and fall out of it at this point. So I need to get the blinds back up and everything. So that's why I've got this. Because anywho, enough of myself. Trenches VR is a game where you literally walk through the trenches and there's this giant monster chasing you, which was my initial impressions of it at first when I first saw it. But then when I played the non-VR version, I noticed there's these jump scares that you can turn off in the non-VR version. Can you do that in the VR version?
No,
You
no, I
can't.
think that's no, that's actually part of the.
Ah, okay. So you can actually turn
Yeah.
those off in the non-VR version, but have the monster still on. So the monsters, which I think is probably the better
Yeah,
way.
there are certain things that they change in the Quest version, because I did play the non-VR version just to get a general idea, and there are some things that they change. I think that because in the beginning, right, the non-VR version of the game, you just start walking and then the monster starts following you, right? Like it's not
Uh,
out right out of the gate. He's not like he doesn't try to kill you right out of the gate, right?
no, it's not. So in the non-VR version, you kind of walk. You start out, you hear some
And
sirens,
yeah,
you
yeah,
walk, turn left, you carry on walking. There's no monster in the first area or anything, and then you kind of get a
yeah,
key, and then you go somewhere else. Then you have to
yeah,
find those dolls, which I found very
yeah.
weird as a design choice. Like personally, like for me, like I know it was
Uh-huh.
probably trying to be creepy or edgy, but still to
Uh-huh.
this point, like it hit me, and I'm like, you could have picked anything, and you're getting me to get. It's the way it's worded on the board as well, and it's like again, I
Mm-hmm.
know it's trying to kind of be like it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable, but at the same point, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel uncomfortable because why the
Mm-hmm.
is this here? That's where my uncomfortableness comes from. If that's the best way to kind of word it.
Yeah.
And again,
Y-
that's not a jab at the developer or anything. It's just more so like I
mm-hmm.
think it just didn't sit with me as much as it might others. Um, it's creepy. It's creepy though. So
Yeah. Yeah, in
kudos
the VR version,
if they changed it.
when you first encounter him, he to my luck, he blows open a door and starts chasing you. So the first thing that you have to do is kind of escape, right? And then
Yeah,
hide into one of these small areas, and then like kind of like a little child whispers at you. So it's quite scary, right? It's as we mentioned at the beginning, it's one of those games for a fun activity with friends, see them lose their minds for a little bit. I do have a picture of a friend that I made play the game actually.
I re-
So
I, j- remember you.
friend, yeah.
You there was another video you did. I think it was on your YouTube or you may put it on uh, Twitter ages ago, and it was when
No, I think it was YouTube. Yeah, yeah.
and it was not is it Exorcist that you did.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
That was
yeah.
fantastic because just the screams you heard from that. I don't know if it was you playing it. I feel like it was you with the
It
screams.
was me. It was me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
them screams sounded familiar after playing Phasmophobia. You're like, I've heard that somewhere. That was fantastic to watch because literally your reaction was like, just like, I was like, this is great. This dude. And I think that was like one of the first things I ever watched of yours as well. Like before we even started speaking, I think I just
Mm-hmm.
clicked on that video from a post, and like obviously me being
Yeah.
very heavy in the VR, so it's like, okay, I'll see what Alice person got with it, and I was like, this is fantastic. Like that's what you want to hear, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Uh, moving on to the
Yeah.
next game, and I actually think this is a game that you might like, because I feel like you like your cozy vibes. You like something chill,
Mm,
You like
sometimes,
you
yeah.
like you like Caravan Sandwich or whatever it was called.
I love horror games mostly. That's all I play. But
It's true. It's
sometimes, but sometimes I make time for a Stardew Valley likes. Let's say.
Stardew Valley likes. Yeah, that's me. I tell you what, people can't. When I say to people like, what are you playing now? It's like, no, it's not a shooting game, mate. This is just tending to my crops at the moment. I just fed me cows. Just gonna crack on with that for a bit. And you've been on that for 6 hours? Yeah, I've been on it for 6 hours. Gonna now slaughter my pig and use the pork to make some food. Like it's
It's a peaceful life. It's a peaceful life,
it's a
man.
farm life. It's what I want. Anywho, Umami Grove. Have you seen this one?
I have not. Give me a second. Umami, because I know that word is used
In food.
for when in food, for when something tastes like really great, right, or something like
Yeah.
that. So
But yeah, while
okay,
you're
so it's
taking
like a cooking game.
yeah, have a look at the trailer while I'm kind of like talking about it a little bit and just
All right, go on.
yeah. So
I'm
I
looking
mean,
at it.
Umami Grove, for anyone that doesn't know, is it's like a game where you have to make food, but you have to go out and get all the stuff to make your food. So you'll kind of like go get the resources to actually make the food. Then you cook it all up, and then you kind of like give it to the people that want it. And on the surface, it just sounds like that just sounds like any old normal game. But I don't know why. In the
Mhm.
weirdest of way, it's giving me that Sushi Ben vibe without the narrative side of it. And I don't know, there's something about it. Whenever I've seen clips of it and trailers of it, I'm like, I want to live in that world. Like, I want to play that. Like, I want
It
that.
looks really cute. Yeah, I just watched
Yeah,
the
it's
trailer.
just
It
it's
it
just
looks really cute.
and so I'm looking forward to that when that comes. I think I want to say like the end, close to the end of
It
January.
it reminded me of Harvest Moon, and obviously
Oh
not just because
yes,
of crafting and foraging for food items, but also because in Harvest Moon there are these little kind of like fairies in
yeah,
every one of the games, right? That kind of like help you out. And in this game, I just looked at it, and you can kind of pet one of the fairies, and they guide you and whatnot. So I don't know. I might play it after Dread Meridian. We'll see.
yeah. Play the scary game, have a bit of a heart attack, and then go. I'm calm now. I'm in Umami Grove. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
playing it. It's one of them ones where I'm going to be jumping in pretty much ASAP.
Umami.
Definitely, I'm definitely interested in that one. So stick around. Going to be sharing my thoughts for that one. I'll
Brilliant.
quickly skim through these other ones because I only know a little bit about one of them, and the other one is just another one I've heard of. So Puzzles of the World is one that popped up, and the reason I picked this is because it reminded me a lot of Puzzling Places, where
Mm.
you're kind of doing puzzles around the world of different things, but like the little kind of they're more like little tiny puzzles instead of making the puzzle of the world. You're making something small within that world, and I thought it looked quite nice. The graphics were nice. Um, yeah, it just looked really, really good. It's coming to Quest, and I thought it's just when I saw the trailer, I was like, that's something I wouldn't mind playing just of an evening, just before bed or something like that, just to really chill out. And it's just I don't know, I need those type of games in my life. So that's why I just wanted to give a quick little call out to that one.
Mm.
The next one that is that I've seen on Twitter a lot. I've seen it pop up the trailer, and I still don't quite get what I'm doing. So I'm looking forward to playing it to kind of figure out what I'm doing, and that is Ghost Cam. And I believe you're just going around taking pictures of ghosts because there is a photo. You got your little camera and you're just taking photos of stuff. So I'm assuming it's more of like an investigative type of game where you're finding these ghosts and all that kind of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued by it. I like the color palette they've went for, where it's kind of like purples and all this kind of stuff. And I think it looks quite nice. So I'm interested in playing that one when it comes, and hopefully it's more than just me taking photos of ghosts because I feel like at that point I'd be like, pose for me, Ghost. Like I'd really play into it just for a bit of fun. So yeah, and plus the name of it, Ghost Cam, it just sounds like welcome to Ghost Cam. You know, this where we dress up as a ghost, we'll take your photo, kind of thing. I don't know, like it's I don't know what to expect from it, but
A bit cheery, yeah. Maybe not as dark as
yeah,
Phasmophobia, which is the
it
first thing that comes
looks
to mind. Yeah.
yeah, it looks quite like I don't know. They've done good with the color palette, I think, and I'm looking forward to giving that a go. So yeah, next up, a game is coming, and this is a game that people know. And I'll full disclosure, I'm working on this game with TerraVision Games. But the
Mm-hmm.
next game that's coming in January is Orcs Must Die by the Blade, and this is a ground up version of Orcs Must Die. You know, the original franchise that came out way back when on the 360, and then there was so many more that came after that. TerraVision are now we're making the first VR version, and yeah, you get to place traps, slay orcs across loads of levels, 12 levels across 3 chapters, and you can play it in co-op as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to everyone playing that game, and I just want to say it's been a huge experience, a great experience to actually like be behind the wheel of like getting a game out to people. Like, I was on a Boundless Gamers with LD the other day, and it's just one of the things I kind of said is like, if any gamer out there ever gets the opportunity to do this in their life, just do it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where it's like, I think you kind of need to experience that background, and then I think you just get that greater appreciation for video games as well, and just kind of seeing how everything comes together, and you get to feel that excitement of like people that are going to be playing the game. And it's even though I've not made any assets for the game or anything like that, I'm like, I'm so hyped for people to play this. So yeah, that's coming in January the 22nd, and yeah, go take a look.
I'm really happy to see your growth, because late last year you gave a try to Diff VR, right? And you even showed up on their promotional video talking about the game. And just to see how you started, doing this podcast all the way up until now, just pulling the curtain back a bit and seeing how things are made, right? As you said, maybe not actually coding or, creating assets. It's really fascinating. I signed a bunch of NDAs, but I can't really say, so I can really say anything that I've seen on my part. But yes, pulling the curtain a bit and being like, whoa, so this is how, because many people just see the final product, right? And they
Yeah.
didn't see how, obviously, how many iterations, how many things changed over the course of 1 year or several years even. Um, so it's always a fascinating experience, and to see you directly directly working with them, is great, because that game looks really fun. As you mentioned, you like playing in co-op, right? A cross-button VR.
Yeah.
Discord has an active community there to play with other people, so I think it's going to work really well, and I'm excited to review it as well.
Oh, mate,
Just
you're
just hook
definitely
hook
going
me
to.
up. I don't know
Yeah.
who I need to cut to.
Who do you need to contact? Well, that would be me, my friend. But no, you'll definitely be getting it as soon as you can. You'll be getting it. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm just excited. It's a dream come true. And I mean, I absolutely loved TerraVision's last VR game, Captain Tuna versus Punks from Outer Space. I've mentioned that game so many times on here. I've got a sealed copy right above me here with signed cards of the characters there. Like, I
Hmm.
love that game. It hit some it struck a chord with me so much, and I'm like, I played so many games in my life, and that's what started this whole thing. Like, I was just so passionate about that game, and I was messaging the dev. Well, I say messaging the dev, I was messaging the CEO, and I was like, it's like, dude, I love this
Yeah.
game and all that kind of stuff, and we just hit it off. Been talking ever
Hmm.
since, and yeah, like, honestly, it's such a great opportunity, and I'm loving every minute of it. So I'm looking forward to everybody
Absolutely.
else giving it a go when it comes out, and let me know what you think. Um, One other game that I put down that's coming out is Pirates VR, and that's coming to Quest as well. I want to
Mm.
say it's coming out on the same day as OMD by the Blade, but Pirates VR has been out on Steam and
Jolly
also,
Roger, yeah.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
my god, yeah. I don't want to talk about that game. I didn't like it.
okay. Fair play. I enjoyed moments of it, but there's some parts that fell a bit flat. But I think
Hmm.
for the most part, I had some enjoyment of it to the point where I'm like, if you can get this at
Yeah,
some
no,
point, you might enjoy
I,
it, but I wouldn't jump straight out of the.
I will tell you what the problem with me was, and I think that is
Oh,
something that's very important about a game,
Parrot.
is when yeah, the parrot as well, but like, you have to be very clear about what your game is about. So when I saw that the game was called Pirate VR, what do you imagine, right?
Treasure
You imagine
hunting,
that you're
guys. We're going treasure
yes,
hunting.
treasure hunting, sailing, going on caves, pillaging towns, and the game has none of that. The game is actually like a puzzle game, basically. So I was very let down by my own expectations. Yeah. And in on the contrary, I'm so glad that eventually on Quest we got this game, the
Sal.
Pirate Republic of Nassau. Yeah.
Ah,
That game is also in early access, I believe, but uh it's much more in line to what I expected with the pirate. Yeah, Republic of Nassau, go play it if you want like a pirate fantasy, because you can fight, like, you can recruit Blackbeard and a bunch of pirates. You can go pillaging towns. You go like
as a
uh
group.
yeah, you and your friends, right? Like anyway, yeah. Still, I just wanted to say that I hope the people who play it on Quest just know that it's more of a puzzle game than a, you know a pirate game.
So yeah, we got some games coming out in January. Good mix
Hmm.
between platforms there, and I think we all know what I'm going to be playing in January.
Hmm.
But what have I been
Yeah.
playing now is the question.
Umami Grove, yeah.
Umami Grove.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, I'm going to shine a light on somebody else. Yeah, I have been playing something over the Christmas period that I was
Hmm.
um, well, how do I want to word this best? Okay.
Hmm.
You know that show that was playing over Christmas, that really big show on Netflix? Stranger
Stranger
Things, yeah.
Things. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, I was kind of hoping, like, like I was doing like a pantomime because of Christmas festive. I wanted
Yeah.
everybody in the chat, like at this point, be like, "Oh, Stranger Things." So I was really excited for that because I've really loved the show. I've enjoyed watching it with my
Hmm.
partner. So I noticed that the Stranger Things VR game went on sale probably about 2 weeks
Mm.
before it went the show started. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pick that up. I've been wanting to play this for the longest of time,
Hmm.
and I finally got the boxes out of the room where my office is usually because I had to use that for storage for a bit, and I set my PlayStation
Hmm.
and I loaded up Stranger Things VR, and I was really excited to play it because, again, I really like the show, and I know this game isn't canon to the story of the show in any way, shape, or form. It was
Hmm.
made, so it follows along loosely from seasons 1 to 4, but it
Okay.
it was made before season 5, and also the first Shadow play, which everybody knows the first Shadow
Oh
play
yeah.
gives the
Yeah. The
backstory.
Broadway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gives the backstory to Henry Krill, all that kind of stuff.
So
Uh,
you're a fan, man. I thought you were gonna like take a dig at it or
oh
something.
no, I am going to take a dig at this game.
Oh. Okay.
So you load it up and you play as Vecna, and I will say the one major
Mm.
great thing about this game is that Jamie Campbell Bower is voicing Vecna. So like the same person who does the
Oh.
voice in the show, he is doing it in the game. So obviously every now and then I'm just hearing him go, "It is time," and I'm like, "Yes, say it again." He's
He's got a
like,
great,
I'm like,
great voice.
"Yeah,"
Yeah.
and it's so you've got him reprising his role, and then you've got the person who played Brenner in seasons one to
Oh yeah,
four.
the Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, he's reprising his role as well because the kind of way the story kind of works. I won't spoil it in any way. It's he's in Vecna's head in a way, kind of telling him things,
Hmm.
and I think what they were trying to do with this game, and I can only imagine it's what they're trying to do, is trying to formulate a backstory as to how Vecna ended up working with the Mind Flayer and how that all came to be, and now how the
Hmm.
Upside Down is and how why he's trying to do all these other things. I think they were trying to formulate a backstory before a backstory was already formulated by the Broadway show and also season 5 a bit more. And I think for the most part, they did a good backstory in a sense where I'm like, oh, I don't mind that idea. That's actually not a bad kind of concept. I like the way you've done that. Um,
Hmm.
and again, I won't spoil absolutely everything because I feel like by the sounds of it, you might probably end up playing it at some point. Um,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I might not after this, but go on.
it's like story wise, I'm kind of enjoying it. Most parts of it are following along from the actual season story, but they keep changing little bits, and I keep going, why? Why have you changed that?
Hmm.
Like that was fine in the show, and I feel like if you portrayed it exactly the same from the show, I feel like I probably would have liked this part more because I'd be experiencing it. And I will say, like, I think it was chapter 2, um, the hunting of Will Byers, like or the missing of Will Byers, or whatever it's called, where you actually
Hmm.
like it puts you in the eyes of Will,
Mm.
and it goes it kind of follows along a process of when he goes missing to so it kind of jumps from season 1 to season 2
Hmm.
kind of thing, the way it works. And I thought it was quite interesting the way they did that because in my mind I was like, now you're messing with my head, I don't know what season I'm on now. But it made me jump. Genuinely, it made me jump. Like seeing a Demogorgon chase me, and while the graphics of that
Ooh.
cell shaded look to it, and I will say when it did show me Vecna fall on and he walked towards me, I did kind of
Hmm.
scream, "What have you done to my boy?" Um, but at the same point, I get it. I get it. I'm enjoying what I've played, but then there's some chapters where I was like, "Why have you made it like this?" And there's a certain chapter where it's without spoiling something, it's a bit like a mind fight. And that's the only
Hmm.
way I can kind of word it without going too in depth for anybody that wants to play it. Because I feel like now with the season ending, people might be trying to find other Stranger Things stuff they can kind of get their claws into. So it's
Yeah.
a bit like a mind fight, but it went on for a bit too long. And when I say it went on for a bit too long, in my mind, it was now fighting my mind. I felt it went on for about an hour to 2 hours.
Oh
I
Jesus.
finished the chapter and I looked at my clock, and I'd only been playing for 25 minutes.
Hmm.
I thought I'd been in there for so long because the way it kind of works is that you keep going back through the same areas over and over again and hearing different dialogue, and And I think the whole thing it's trying to do is get you to break the cycle. But it's weird because like you break the cycle and then it doesn't work. And I'm like, it's just kept getting hit with friction. And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of ruined what I thought was actually probably going to be the strongest chapter in the game. And it actually ended up becoming the chapter I hated the most because of the way it was made. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was quite upsetting, really, because I walked away going, "This is some really cool moments of this," and then it happened again and again. I'm going to go like,
Oof.
"Okay, these cool moments are now making me go. I would rather do something else with my time." And like I said, I eventually finished the chapter, and I thought I'd been on it for hours. I hadn't.
Yeah. I know how that feels, and I find that very interesting what you're saying, because this is a game, the Stranger Things VR game, that had already been out for quests
Yeah,
for quite some time now. So if you're gonna port it to PlayStation VR2, maybe try to fix some things, implement some feedback, whatever, right? And from, like, not just from what you've said, but I do have read. I have watched all of the series. I'm not a big of a fan of the show as I was, when it first came out. I suppose. I mean, 9 years, man. Anyway, um, I yeah, I didn't hear anything good about
yeah.
you know,
I was in
the
the same
PSVR2
position.
ports.
I mean,
Yeah.
the port's fine. Like, I mean, it's not
Oh
necessarily
yeah,
a
I
bad.
mean, yeah,
You mean
the port,
you mean the game
the
itself?
game
You didn't.
itself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was in the same shoes. I remember seeing a ton of reviews when it first came out. Because again, Strange Things fan, I was like, oh my god, a Strange Things VR game. This sounds awesome. And I remember watching all the bigger reviewers, and they were. I think the best way to word it is they were really dogpiling on this game. Like I was like, oh great,
Mm,
this IP game of this show I really like. Everybody's like, oh, it's crap. Don't buy it. Can't recommend it. It's not worth playing. And then there was one shining light where they were like, while it was this, I still enjoyed this, this, and this. And I was like, okay, so there is some light to the end of Vecna's mind. Um,
mm,
but and then when I bought it, I was like, I want to be wrong. I want to everyone to what they said. I want to play this and be like, they're wrong.
mhm,
And for the most part, my mind is saying they are. But after that one chapter, I'm also like, I can see why
mm.
they're right. And it's such an odd one how one chapter is pretty much made me go, because somebody asked me online and I said I was playing it. I was like, yeah, no, it's pretty good so far. I'm only on chapter 2. And then I got a little bit further in and I'm like, I don't even want to respond back to that comment right now. I feel like I want to have to really have to talk about this because it was like within an hour, my thoughts into I'm Vecna, I'm picking up demogorgons and snapping their bones and and you
Mm.
hear the clock and the chime and then you see all their bones click and all that kind of stuff and you're like, oh my god, I'm Vecna. And
Yeah, that sounds cool, at
and,
least on
and then you
paper.
get to
Yeah.
do the telekinesis and split it apart and push it away and all that kind of stuff and it feels so cool. And then I'm like, how did I go from loving it so quickly to going,
Hmm.
what am I doing? But anyways, the story kind of follows along more with the show and things like that in ways that I would not necessarily agree in is the best way of doing it, but it's also ways I'm kind of like, I don't mind that they've done that because they're trying to change it up. They're trying to give you this different view of it all.
Hmm.
Um, I'd sit on the bar of saying, if you can get it on a sale of a
Hmm.
relatively decent price and you're a fan of the show, give it a try. If you have
Hmm.
no connection to the Stranger Things universe whatsoever and you're just picking this up because it's a VR game, don't bother. And that's not because I just feel like you just won't get any level of oh, this is cool. I feel like the coolness comes from it is that I'm walking around and I'm hearing Brenna and Vecna talk to each other. I'm hearing this kind of back and forth from them, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm hearing Vecna talk this whole
Yeah.
time. I'm getting this whole chatter, and I think that's where I'm constantly like, oh my god, this is awesome. Um,
Hmm.
I think if you can get it for a cheap price, then definitely pick it up. I think I got it for maybe I want to say maybe a 20% or 30% off a sale, and I feel like a 50% off, I probably would have been like a little bit less annoyed with certain parts of it. But it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just that one chapter. I still don't understand in my mind how it made me feel like I was in it for about 2 hours. Like genuinely, my batteries ran out on my controllers,
Mm.
and I just don't get how one chapter did that. And then the next chapter happened. And I was like, okay, I'm back to kind of enjoy this again. But it also did this whole thing where it's kind of a chain loop of all these scenarios happening. And I think what they've done, where they're trying to add these big parts that happen in the show into one session or
Mm.
one chapter, it kind of makes that chapter feel really long, because in your mind, this one part of this show here, it's probably an hour-long episode. Now you're doing this over a 20-minute chapter, but it's so crammed in not the best way possible, that you're almost like, I've been in this forever. I'm now at the end of the outcome, and you go, oh wait, no, I'm not. Like it's odd. I saw a tweet online where somebody said I think they gave it a 7 out of 10. I don't really want to give it a score. I think they said they don't watch Stranger Things, and they said it's a 7 out of 10, or no, they said 6 out of 10, but they said probably for somebody that's a fan of Stranger Things, probably an 8 out of 10. I'd probably say it's still roughly like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 in general, just not because of, it's not all bad. It's just one of them things where it's like, I think if you've got if you've got Stranger Things in your game title, I think you've got to deliver.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, just this past December, these Men in Black game came out, right?
I haven't played it yet. I need to play that.
Yeah, I haven't played it either. But we had that. We're having Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, soon as well. So I think that in VR we're getting the Voice, right? That show from Amazon Prime, also like a VR version. Great.
They better not,
show,
please, Avor, do not mess that up. I have full faith in you, but just in case you need to hear it, please. I need to be gory. I need to be very reflective.
Yes, of the show, absolutely. I do have hope that it'll be good, but yes, it's going back to all of these cases. These games, it's not only putting you into the same story beats as you've already seen in the show. I think, as what happens with Stranger Things VR, I think that you really need to put meaningful gameplay mechanics that go beyond just, oh, look at this scene, look at these characters saying the thing that you remember, or look at Eleven doing her thing. Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but a game cannot sustain itself just by cool flashbacks or nostalgia. It does have to have some meat,
and I think that's what it does a lot. I think you've worded that the best. I think that is what it does. I think the reason I think I've got maybe one, and I've not even finished it yet. I've got 1 or 2 chapters left, and this is it. I've now hit a point in my mind where I don't want to go back. I want to go back because I just want to hear Jamie Campbell Bower just talk like Vector in my ear for another hour or so. It's only meant to be a 4-hour long game, and I feel in my mind I've spent like 8 hours on this so far, and that just doesn't make
the worst.
It doesn't make sense to me. It's really, yeah, I think you're right. There is no real cool gameplay moments to this game. It's very much a Demogorgon attacks you, quick, shoot something out with telekinesis. Now snap its bones and go inside of its mind. It's that over and over again. Then you get a chapter that's meant to be a narrative chapter, and you might be in a car just driving, but you're not actually like fully driving. You're just kind of going left to right in the car. And it's like that for 20 minutes. And it's like,
oof. Yeah, no, that sounds boring, man. And I remember I had a podcast in 2024, and I invited Lori, and it was,
Who?
VR podcast, obviously.
Who's Lori? Guys ever heard of Lori?
Your ex friend, man.
Ex-host.
Ex-host. I think you're still friends, hopefully.
You are, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. You were. He was just here a while ago. But yeah. He said it best. It's, you're in VR. You're not, watching like a movie or a TV show where you could just like check your phone and forget about something. Like, all of your senses are fully immersed in this experience. So if you're just gonna throw me like a very uneventful, boring situation like the one that you're describing, 20 minutes driving but literally doing nothing, it's difficult for somebody to be engaged because you're fully there, right?
It's so weird because it's like, I mean, this episode's going on way too long, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've done an episode for over a month, so enjoy this. Watch it in 2 parts for yourself. Have some fun. But it's like with that chapter I was saying about, like, you're literally just steering the wheel from left to right. You can change the gear shift and it makes you go faster. But there's no real reason to have to do that, because if you crash the car into another car, it starts the next part of the chapter, in a sense. But what it's really trying to do is to get you to look around the car and do things with the car. So, like, the radio signal will be different. So you change the radio and you'll hear a song, and then things will start flashing and changing. And it's trying to get you to pay attention to your surroundings while you're driving in a really, really fast car that crashes into everything, then vibrates your controllers and everything like that. But yet you want my interest to be paid onto other things. Now, I don't know about you guys. I've always been taught that you do not get distracted when you're driving, because you can crash. Now, this game is trying to tell me that crashing is not a bad thing as long as you get distracted, because that's going to propel you further on into the future where you can find out what's going to happen next. It was just odd how it was designed. And it's just... It was a moment with creepy crawlies, though, and I did close my eyes, so it did successfully hit me with the creepy crawly factor. So if anybody wondered about that, yeah.
Last question I wanted to ask, like, does it? And obviously, I think it should have, right? Like, does it at least have the intro, the iconic intro? You know,
oh yeah, you do hear that after like the first chapter. I think it kind of comes in a little bit, and I was like, oh, that feels nice. But yeah, I feel like at this point, I feel like the only people that should buy this game is people that want to hear 4 hours more of Jamie Campbell Bower. That's it. Like, if you genuinely like have now got an obsession with the way Vector's voices or anything like that, you're the target audience of this game, because you could just be sitting there and you'll just be like, "Get out of my head," and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
say it again. Say it again. And there is that whole thing, like, where you can do the vines and you can pull yourself up, but it's weird because, like, in the show, he's only ever pulls himself up to kind of like hibernate and go into his like thing where he goes into other people's minds. But in this, he's basically like Vecna Man with like tentacles that can attach to things and pull himself up all over the place. And I'm like, did that ever happen? Like, I know he can extend out his hand in the show. But did he ever become Spider-Man and start climbing up fucking rocks and stuff? Because I don't remember that at all. So that...
Not that extensive.
Exactly.
Move around. No,
yeah, so... But yeah, it's one of the things. Pick it up on a deep sale if you're a fan of Stranger Things. If you're not, don't bother. If you want an easy platinum, I believe it does have an easy platinum. You just have to replay some stuff. I had every intention to get the platinum, but after doing, I think it was chapter 5 that I found to be the bit of a slog chapter, even though it is a very story driven chapter, it's probably the worst chapter out of all of them. That's now killed my intentions to do the platinum whatsoever, because I'm like, I missed something on that level, and I'm like, I have to go back and do that level again. Nah, I'm all right. So it's very much hit me like that. But hey, I bought it as a fan. I'm not disappointed with buying it in a sense, because I get to talk about it and tell you guys about it. But at the same point, it's like I am slightly disappointed because the show ended, and I was also one of the people that I want more. Not the people that are kind of like coming up with different ideas of the show why it shouldn't have ended. I'm not that weird, but I wanted more.
Yeah, I just saw that some people were creating these ideas that apparently a new like episode
9's coming. Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna be honest here. Like I don't believe in any of it, and I never did from the get go. But there was one thing that that somebody like put out, like their theory that this is why there's so many continuity errors in Stranger Things season 5, and I was like, okay, there is a few now. You've pointed them out. I can see what you're on about, and I think there's somebody counting there's like maybe 70 continuity errors, and I was like, okay. And then there was like, wow. They're all in Vecna's. Vecna's got them all, and he's now basically the one way to kind of really stop them all is to, in their mind, make them have a good ending, because then they're not going to try and fight back. They're having a good ending. They think they've won. And I thought, that's actually a fantastic theory if they did do that as like an episode 9, because then you could have episode 8 and be like, this is the ending I like. And then you can have people that go, no, this is the real ending. I like this one. And you can kind of have that, like, do I want to live in a fairy tale, or do I want the real gritty ending? And I like that idea from like a person who's just reading up and stuff. But I also was like, but why does it fucking matter? Like, you can, this is interpretation. This is the best part of TV. It's the best part of any media, is you can now kind of think of what's happening next or what's been done next. And I think that's the more fun part of it. And yeah, the way Twitter's been going and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, I think people in
Y'all need to
general
get help.
don't. They like people in general don't like when things end like these finite endings. Or I think it happened with Lost. It happens with all of these shows. They make new seasons
Yeah.
years later, and people eat it up, right? They don't want things to end, but yeah, that's an interesting theory that obviously is not going to come true.
I
That's
mean,
insane.
I was like at Dexter, like when Dexter seasons 1 to 8 ended, I was like, oh, that's a shame. And then when I heard rumors it was going to start again, I was like,
Hmm.
nah, it's not. And then it started again, and then that ended. I was like, oh, nah. But
Well,
what? But what if it comes back again? And then lo and behold, it came
and
back
it
again.
came
And
back.
I was like, it can't end now. They're gonna have to do a second season because that got really good ratings, and it got a second season. I was like, yes, keep it coming. Just don't stop,
Yeah,
don't stop
the
this until
resurrection thing.
yeah,
It's a great show. I started
loved it.
started watching it recently.
Can I
But
get a
yeah,
Dexter VR
uh,
game and somebody do it right? Somebody who cares about that IP, make a Dexter VR game for me, please.
there's a lot of murder based
I
VR games out there.
it'd
Yeah.
probably only be allowed on Steam if somebody made it, just simply because you're literally
I
doing.
mean, Hitman. Well, you mentioned Hitman World of Assassination, like the type of stuff that you can do on that game. Of course, it's all a little funny and cartoony, but I don't know. Like I think it's a plausible idea.
Yeah, it's one of the things where like I feel like if I got a Dexter show, I want everything, everything
I
in that
mean,
show.
we
Like,
got the boys. Anything's
yeah,
possible.
let's hope. But yeah, to save everybody a headache, let's wrap this up. Have you got any final words, my friend?
Yeah, because you mentioned, what you had been playing, and of course, thank you so
Oh yeah,
much
sorry, I didn't
for
ask you.
inviting me. No, no, you're fine. For those watching on video, I do have Quill from Moz. Her little plushie that arrived last December. I really do love those games. I think that
Such a lovely
um,
plus.
they really advanced the medium. I do think that it would be a fantastic first game for anybody who like does not know what the whole deal with VR is. The way Quill talks with the ASL language, right? American Sign Language.
Yeah,
It's beautiful, like the way she kind of celebrates and gives you high fives. I think everything about the game is just very cute, right? Like just designed to melt you know, your steel heart, right? So Glass Breakers, Champions of Moss, is a new game that came out right recently in November. That it's round based, so I understand why people would be adamant to give it a chance. But I don't know. I've quite liked it. I'm not really much of a tabletop guy. I've tried some of these tabletop games on VR because they are somewhat popular, right? You got that Demio, right, as well.
yeah,
But I think that the fact that some of the characters from the second game appear in in Glass Breakers, and they can be easily done within 5 to 10 minutes each round. So like you could play a half hour, uh, each day or every couple of days, and it'll be a fun time. So I've been doing that, just to like clear my head, strategize a little bit because you need to do some like because it's kind of like this MOBA style towers that you have to destroy. So it's an interesting mechanic. It's an interesting concept. So I've been playing that. Yeah.
yeah. I I need to play it. It's one of them games. It's just like it doesn't intrigue me whatsoever. But like I'm hearing everyone that's
Yeah.
played it has had enjoyment with it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to give it a go. But me being stubborn and like I'm not budging. No, I'll go back. I'll go back to play Stranger Things VR and finish that instead. Because I'm a masochist, all right. I like
Oh my
suffering,
god. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Go get the platinum for Stranger Things
I
VR.
don't think I'm going to get that platinum. But before we go, I want to take a minute to thank all our channel members, and a big shout out goes to Golu, Phil, Andrew, Aaron Reich, and M Busick. Which I'm going to say, his name, and I'm so sorry for this. You can cancel your membership after I mess this up, but hey, I'm transparent as hell, and everyone knows that. Um, would you prefer me to call you Mike? And this is where he goes, no, mate, my name's Mark, because I can't remember. But either way, dude, thank you so much. And yeah, I've played games with him before, and my memory's so bad since last year, so I apologise for all that, everyone. But thank you for all you that literally, pay for to keep this service going, because we don't do this over Discord or anything like that. We do actually use the platform. Makes it a lot easier, especially when doing cross-region calls with like my good friend Andreas here. It does help us a lot. It doesn't cut anything out. It keeps it all flowing well. So, but it does sadly cost a fee. So yeah, I just want to thank you all that do support us, and for any that have still stuck around even after a month of me not even saying, "Hey guys, I'm coming back," until like 2 days ago, where I was like, "Guys, come back soon." And with that, we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for listening, and yep, Happy New Year. Can you even say Happy New Year anymore? Is it too late to say it now? Nah. Bingo. Have a good one.